Welcome everyone. I am bringing you a game called StarCrawler. StarCrawler is a dungeon crawler game in the aspects of Eye of the Beholder and Legend of Grimrock, but its combat kind of plays more like Shadowrunner Returns, where it is a turn-based type deal where people with the faster initiative will move first, which I like that. Another thing is it plays in turn-based, the combat does, and so does the movement, and that's a little hard to explain, but once I get into the game I can show you that. It is been in early access for about a year. You can see it's in early access build 6, and there is still bugs in here, and this is good to have a bug report because I'll mention that I have been on missions where the mission was uncompletable because there was a bug where one of the objects you were supposed to gather never spawned into the game. Now, let me just go straight into the game. We'll just take a second to load. Now, one thing I like about this is the game has a bunch of unique classes and also options to unlock newer classes as you go on. For this video, we'll just do the first two missions because they're very short and simple, but they will show you the premise of the game. So this is Luna, our assistant slash pilot to our ship, and we're here now docking to Terminus 9 to look for work. And this is where the game kind of goes into the shadow run type deal where, you know, you are an agent looking for work, kind of the whole shadow run deal, and you're working for corporations. And I will show that off here in a second. So here's the thing, we got all these different classes, each one has their pros and their cons. And as you can see, you can be a male, female. I like the Smuggler a lot. It has a really fun play style. And it does have that whole gamble that, okay, certain paths you might choose with it, that you can actually end up killing your teammates by accident. We're not going to go with that build, but I'll show you it. So I'm going to create Davana. And we're going to accept. So here it is. We have AP. This is how you get your skills and abilities. Now, as you can see, it is a standard talent tree from MMOs that you're used to. So you got your explosive builds right here. You just get a bunch of little nifty tricks up your sleeve. This is for your gunslinger build. You want to go with just pure guns fighting. I like this build a lot, especially with the passive right here. One thing is nice is that you can tell instantly just by looking what is an active and what's a passive. Actives are going to be these, is it a hexagon symbol? I think that's a hexagon. I am not good at it. I haven't used geometry in a while, so yeah. And circles are going to be your passives. This is the tree that might end up getting your party killed. As you can see, like right here, you roll, you toss a credit, and if it lands hits, you do damage to an enemy. But if it lands tails, someone randomly gets bad luck. So you have to put 3 points into that where bad luck will affect enemies. And you kind of go down further in this, and there is some of these things where you will have a chance of hurting your allies. So it's one of those risk and reward trees. I like this aspect. Another big thing is based on where you put your points, you'll have interactions in the game. And it becomes really clear when I unlock some of my other characters. And when I say unlock, I'm talking more like Shadowrun Returns, where you purchase your other characters. So let us go into the thing. This is where we'll be spending our time getting our missions. Like I said, this game does do a lot of mixture of Shadowrun and Eye of the Beholder, Legend of Grimrock, if you play that. So that first option will change based on what class you have. So like if you pick the ninja, it's just silence and you won't even speak. If you pick like a soldier, you'll like talk about blowing stuff up. An engineer will be like, I'm here to fix stuff. So I kind of like that. There is a lot of talk about what happens. So we go over here and we'll pick up our first mission. Yes, it only pays 10 credits. But you'll see why. It is a tutorial mission. We get no reputation changes. And that is another big thing I need to point out. In the game, there is reputation, where that's also what I was meaning with the Shadowrun Returns aspect, where you're doing missions for different corporations. In Shadowrun Returns and that stuff, those corporation side missions don't really affect you at all. In this game, that is a totally different story, because I'll go here in here we go. So as you can see, here is a bunch of major corporations and that stuff where, you know, if you get positives with them, they will give you more missions and that stuff. While negatives, they might be more willing to send... I don't know what's going to happen with negative. I haven't gotten that far, but I'm guessing they'll send harder enemies against you if you go into a mission that you have negative towards. Here's some of the more minor groups. And you'll notice you'll get a lot of negative points with these guys and positive at the same time. So this is where the Legend of Grimrock and Eye of the Beholder comes into play. As you can see right here, there is supposed to be something, but it's not there because we haven't gone over here and gone with the tutorial mission. So I'll come back here now. Look. Yeah, I know. And it's trying to tell me about the free play. So I did that, that unlocked the door. Here's some loot. And you'll find this occasionally in the missions, and there's two types of loot. There's, you know, just basic random loot, and then there's going to be corporate loot. And taking the corporate loot will give you a great deal of credits, but at the same time give you an instant negative effect with the corporation you're doing the mission for. Now over here we got a hidden panel. I have to click it a few times, and that's going to open up this, which is going to give me a little med pack. Now sometimes the panels are going to be easy to find, other times they're not going to be so easy. And as you can see, you get this little vent, a little kid stares at you. Leave the urchin alone. The kid will always disappear no matter what you do. Each class has abilities that aids their team when you gain a level. This is telling you what I told you earlier about where you put your points into your character will affect the environment of your mission. So I click here, and as you can see, Smuggler, Gunslinger 3. I shoot the barricade to pieces with style. If I had the points into other areas, I would have different options, like if I chose the explosive tree and the decoy tree and that stuff, I had the option to putting a mine there. And this teaches you the hacking system, which is pretty interesting. Alright, so I'm starting off with Thor. I'm going to end up hitting it for 5 damage. Freya is, as you can see, there's a security build up. This plays homage to Shadowrun Returns type deal, where if it hits max, you're kind of locked down and that stuff. I've never failed this, but then again, I've gotten the hacker pretty early and never got to do this minigame ever again. So Freya does 1 damage, removes all the security. Then I get my Loki, and he has, you know, these 2 things. And I'm just going to do damage, kill it off, and boom. So I come here, the lasers are off. Alright. I was trying to show off the movement thing where the environment is a turn-based thing. That didn't work out because, well, the door shut on our face. And enemies will not go through doors sometimes, which is a nice thing. In fact, I've never seen an enemy go through a door. And this is good because in certain missions, you'll be faced with respawning enemies. And you will actually have to run for your life. And this tells you about the combat. So I'm going to go with the Kimbo for my first attack. I've been hit with the status effect, which is just a positive effect. You'll be able to buff yourself and your allies. You'll be able to debuff or dot up your enemies. There is no healing that I've seen. And this is just kind of one of those silly things. It's like the tutorial, like I said. And as you can see right here, this X, that is to show off the object in question you need to grab. So you come over here, you interact with this, and you'll automatically get the item, but then you'll get some nice little loot. So as you can see, I got some pistols that I'm gonna instantly put up because they're better than what I have. And I think this one has it has more damage. It has less. Oh no, it has better accuracy as well and better crit chance and better speed. It's just flat out better. So because I've gotten the object in further missions, this thing will not show up anymore once you've claimed it. And you just go off and do your exit. As you can see, you get some XP for finishing it off. You get your payment. If the mission had some reputation, the reputation change would be right here. Now you go over here, you talk with the guy. He's going to tell you about your new mission and that stuff. He's also going to talk about the people you might want to talk with. That doesn't sell, so we're just going to get rid of it. This sells. And of course now I have 150. I'm going to keep the med pack because you don't heal in the missions. You don't have a natural healing over time. The only way to heal is the med packs. And unfortunately, when you go over here, sometimes the doctor will not have any for sale. Right now he does, but I've been in the situation where all he had was drugs. And that can put you in a real hindrance. So here it is. I'm going to show you off the hiring of a person. I'm going to actually go with a soldier. I love them because they are the primary tank in the class, in the game. And sure, we'll go with this person, this name. And their whole job is to help keep you alive. So I'm going to put all 3 points into Meat Shield. Meat Shield is a bit of a slower ability. But once you get some of the other things, it becomes really nice. And the thing I love about this is it taunts all enemies. While some other tanks in the game will only taunt one enemy, and that becomes a problem when you have like 5 enemies on the screen and you're getting swamped, and the enemies will actually attack your more dangerous targets. So they will attack high DPS classes over low DPS classes. And that's the big thing that you want to bring the tank out there, is trying to prevent them from destroying your low DPS classes. Oh, your high DPS classes. So we'll go here with some work. And this will show us the first reputation thing. And it lets me select my team. You can have up to 4 people in your team. And I'll show you later on my favorite build. I've tried all the classes, and to the most part, there is a team of 4 I like to run with. So Luna's going to give you a briefing and all that sort of stuff. Now here's a big thing. You're going to get this call from one of the corporations, and they're going to talk, they're basically going to offer you a side mission on top of it. This plays like on Shadowrun Returns, where you can get those side missions when you enter things. But unlike Shadowrun Returns, where accepting the mission doesn't really affect you at all, this game, on the other hand, it does affect you. So we're gonna have her tell us that they're into some nasty stuff, but we're gonna talk with them. So since I'm a smuggler, I can ask for more money right there up front. And I can ask, see, right now they're wanting me to find some medical supplies, and they'll pay me 100 credits. And I can ask, what if the owners of them have a problem with me returning the things. I've done the take the money option, and it later comes in and bites you in future missions. So I'm not going to do that. And money becomes very small, doesn't really become a big issue after a while, because you're going to be sitting on a nice chunk of money, and you're not going to have much to spend it on, because like I said, with the doctor and having random items you can buy, the other vendor will have random items you can buy, and oftentimes you'll find that while, yeah, there might be one item in there that's an upgrade, most of the stuff in there is not going to be an upgrade. And once you got your team belt that you're satisfied with, you just kind of sit on the credits. So, as you can see on the screen, the monster was moving when I was moving. And I also showed off the aspect of it not moving through doors. And right there, as I said earlier, the enemy did attack my higher DPS character versus my less DPS, more tanky character. So, as you notice, I've lost a shield charge, but I still lost HP. The shield basically will only absorb a percentage of the damage, and I'll show that off when I get a shield upgrade, basically. So basically, that's the symbol of the enemy being taunted. I just wanted to show that off. Doesn't really matter because I'm going to kill the enemy. I got a nice crit there. Alright, here's a tactical shield. As you can see, it absorbs 5 damage and it has 5 charges. What this means is that anything over 5 damage, you're going to take as full-on damage. But it can protect you for a total of 25 damage a mission. Well, not a mission, but a battle. your shields will regenerate over time. Certain allies will have resources that will regenerate over time as well as in battles. I don't want to show that off because I don't like those classes. But they could be up your alley if you like them. That's perfectly fine. So we're here exploring this ship. The ship is empty. We don't know why the ship has went abandoned. As you can see, the enemy isn't moving. Like I said, he only moves when you move. And as you saw, he got the first attack. My shield only absorbed 3 points of damage, so I ate the rest. My health will not regenerate out of combat. Unlike resources and shields, health does not regenerate. You need medkits. So since the enemy will get another turn, I'm going to send my tank after him. Oh! And that's, of course, unless my character crits. So, yes, I got broken loot this time. So, not always will you get a usable item after combat. Like, I got a usable shield. As you can see, you will sometimes just get broken scrap that you can sell for money. Make sure to check everything. We got the loot box. Not always will the game be very obvious on what you need to find for hidden objects. In fact, besides that first mission, I haven't really found any hidden objects, and I have clicked around a lot on these levels. So I don't really think hidden objects are going to be that big of a thing. So we have a mess hall here. Now we're going to go over here. And this is the medical supplies. Now we'll come over here and we'll read this, and it actually says that this is a medical supplies with the Chimera logo and some shipping manifest. Let's inspect the shipping manifest. The manifest says that this is for a planet that is suffering from the pox, and that it has been paid fully. So, now you get the option of collect the supplies and sell them. You can sell them to, on the black market. You can send them to the colony who has paid for them, or you can send them to Chimera. Alright, so here's the thing. I did not know that it's going to have a cost to do the right thing. But of course, going around here, you will find other items. So yeah, see, the bots will not go through the door. And you have to left click on the enemy to get the combat menu up. That's one big complaint I don't like about this game, but it's a minor thing. So as you can see, the enemy did attack our tank, whose shield in buff. My ally gets a massive damage reduction when taunting enemies. And that basically removed all the damage from the enemy between the damage reduction and the shield. So I'm just here to finish it off. And some more junk. There's another tactical shield. As you can see, it shows you the information you get if you put it on versus if your ally puts it on. Your ally will lose 2 damage absorption, they will suffer from it being a tactical shield and not a heavy shield. This is also another thing. Different classes will get better benefits from different items. So since I'm a DPS, I like the tactical shields, and the tactical shields are really good for a DPS class like me. While as my tank, they want the heavy shields. And it doesn't seem like there's anything over here. We'll go around. This is the mission objective right there. But let's explore a little bit more. Well, it's one of the main mission objectives. There's a few more. So here it is. We have a locker. And we can go with the lockers and let's just inspect them. So we have these leave lockers, we have investigate lockers. Okay, so this locker has nothing of value. This locker has nothing of value. You go with this locker and it has a lock pad, which you'll be able to punch in the code if you can figure it out. I'll show that off here in a second. And we'll go with the third locker and it has a candy bar. So you grab the candy bar and it instantly gives you 20 credits. There's a credit stick as well. Make sure to look around for credit sticks. They will be kind of floating around and sometimes hidden among debris and junk like I just shown off. That area back there is locked, so I'm not even going to show it off. And I can't believe I actually missed the clue. One of these personal places will have an actual notepad that's going to tell you how to access that one loot. Okay, here it is. There's the credit box. So this guy is telling you about how he's stashed some supplies in the in his locker. And he gives you the code. It's red, yellow, red, yellow. Now you might be thinking like, what is red, yellow means? And it's chems. Well, going back out here, we'll go to the mess hall. And I will show you. So make sure I didn't skip any things. Now look at that. Now, isn't that a weird set of ketchup and mustard bottles? We got 1, 4, 8, and 3. You come over here and you'll find out that that's actually the code for his locker. So you'll take the locker and you'll put in the code and put in 1, 4, 8, 3. The light turns green, you get the chems, and yay! You can use the chems out of combat or in combat. I'll show that off later on. And chems will have this pro-con effect to them. I don't know if they have any addiction properties. So since we got the 20 credits from the, what's it called? From the candy bar, we can now send it off to the outpost. And I'll just go over here and complete the mission. Oops. I want to go over this way. So you can see there's nothing really here. Sometimes there'll be these little panels you want to access with it. But we want to go with this log terminal. So this just gives a little bit of the backstory about what happens. It displays some messages. Nothing big. So we'll override the cargo bay. And we'll come over here. And remember how I said there was a locked area. Now I will come over here. If you would have came over here earlier, it would have said this area is locked. And you can't progress here. Even if you're a hacker, I don't think you could hack it. I've never tried it with a hacker. But I think that's kind of just part of the story. This is a main story quest, so it's going to have some linearity to it. So we're going to go here And we can ready our weapons and we can shoot the crate. It looks like a fight. And this is the thing with these main missions. I've noticed, I've done a few of them, and each one ended with a boss battle. And depending on your class build and that stuff, you can have different interactions with the boss battles before the boss battle, or even to the degree of actually avoiding the boss battle altogether. So I'll do my standard shoot first. Now he's going to charge up an EMP field that's just going to knock out all of our shields. Going to set off that. And I like how, if you notice when he's charging up, the environment changes showing how far it is charged up. So the first charge is lit up these lights, and then the second charge lit up those lights. Now, if I don't kill him in this battle, he will attack. Which I didn't. And as you notice, it did 100% effect to my shields. There are going to be attacks like that where your allies can wipe out enemy shields but not do damage to them. Sometimes you can do damage to the enemy based on how many shields you knock out, etc. etc. So we're going to finish the robot. And because we did take out the boss, the game is just going to say, well, not this mission, but sometimes you'll get the option just to end the mission right then and there once you complete the boss battle. This one will require you to go back to the airlocks. You can see I leveled up, I got some credits for the payment. Now, she'll tell you about the robot and how it's not supposed to exist because it is an illegal AI, and you are not supposed to be creating illegal AIs in this part of the galaxy. Is it worth anything? Now, she'll give you the option to either scrap it or repair it, and you can later hire it as a companion. And this is also a companion that can be either male, female, which I don't understand the option of that because it's a robot. It doesn't have gender. But it's still kind of comical. I don't like the robot because I've tried him as a tank. He's a terrible tank. He's a pretty good DPS, but he has a malfunction mechanic where if he malfunctions, it's pretty much him being stunned. And if he malfunctions 5 times in a row, you'll lose him for the rest of the mission, if I understand correctly. I've never gotten it to 5 times in a row. He could just be dead for that one encounter. But the mechanic is every time the battle goes on, he gains 5% towards his malfunction counter. And I've seen it malfunction many times at 15 and 20%, which I think is just too ridiculous for that. I mean, I understand if it was higher, you have a 50-50 chance of it malfunctioning, okay, yeah, but, you know, when you're getting malfunctions at the 10, 5, 15, 20, that is just too much RNG not in your favor. So I'm going to actually rip out the AI core and sell the scrap. So I've looted a prototype AI core. And because I've leveled up, I've gotten a new talent point, and I'm taking the shoot first passive. Really nice. it doesn't quite work exactly how it says because I've seen this thing practically proc uh, all the time. When you get 3 ranks into it and it's 100% chance for shoot first, I've seen shoot first react and the attacks go towards an enemy or towards another ally, and it's supposed to be when I'm targeted, I guess. I get to shoot first, but it just later on you put 3 points into it, and anytime the enemy does an action, you get some free damage into it, which is nice. I'm not complaining. So I'll put the points there and also showcase this. We got a message and they were disappointed. We gave the supplies to the people who bought the medical supplies and we didn't give them to Chimera. If we had given them to Chimera, there would have been an extra option right here to get extra money. But that's it for this episode. I will show off more of the game in the next episode.